Hello, friends, and welcome to Empower You 2 podcast. I'm your host, Natasha Paris, and I'm excited because you are in the building with me. You can be anywhere in the world, but you have chosen to be here with me, and I am so humbled and appreciative. Let me tell you about this show. Each and every single week, we continue to empower you to greatness that is truly going to help you, whether you are a person that have experienced a heartbreak, have gone through a divorce, or have endured levels of trauma of any kind, or you're just a person trying to rebuild their life and themselves, and now you are finally ready to live a life full of abundance, joy, and peace, then this show is for you. So with that said, thank you again for being here. I am extremely grateful. I'm excited to be on this journey with you because together we are empowered for greatness. You ready? Let's go. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Empower You 2 podcast. I am your host, Natasha Paris, the mental health therapist expert, and I am super excited to come before you because I have something to share that could potentially change the trajectory of your life. And so with that said, let's jump right into episode 107. Yes, my friends, we are up to episode 107. Yes, if you have not listened to the Empower You 2 podcast, you are missing out tremendously because we've talked about so many different topics, but they are all in the frame of empowering you for greatness. Because in the beginning of the week, we really focus on meditation and being present and your breathing while confirming and affirming who and what you are. And that is someone great. And then, of course, at the end of the week, we really go into some topics that could potentially, like I said before, change your life course. If you take heed to some of the golden nuggets, if not all of them, and allow it to support your growth. Okay, so let's jump into episode 107. And my title is, It's a Lie. You Are Worthy. It is a lie. You are worthy. My friends, so often there are lies that are constantly being spread about you, and those lies often come by way of things that was said about you when you were a child. And now you actually believe it, and you tell yourself often in your head that you are not good enough, that you are not worthy enough, that you don't deserve that. Well, today we're going to talk about why you do deserve it. But before we jump into that part of our discussion today, I want to talk about how it was created. How were those thoughts, those lies created? Okay, my friends, what I know too well as a licensed clinician is that we don't wake up like this. We don't wake up like this. No, you did not wake up just all of a sudden depressed. You did not just wake up all of a sudden angry at the world. My friends, you did not wake up all of a sudden anxious and scared. And so oftentimes I find that individuals that have come into my office, individuals that I've worked with, when they have a chief complaint such as anger, sadness, depression, anxiety, when they have these chief symptoms, I begin to question, where did it start? What happened? And in order for anyone to really look at their life and see where they are, I'm not saying it's all the time, but oftentimes it happens in childhood. It happens in those formulated years where you are extremely impressionable. It could have happened in your childhood because someone was bullying you about the way you look, or how small you were, or how slim you were, or how dark you were. Or it could have happened from what you saw happening on television, that girls that looked like you were not considered to be beautiful. Or it could have happened based on what you saw, based on what was happening in your household, what was being said to you in your household about you. So, my friends, when you are experiencing levels of anxiety and frustration and don't know where it's coming from, please begin to look at your childhood. Look at what may have occurred. Now, if a trauma had occurred, such as, grief and loss or physical abuse, most recent in your life, and now you are scared to go out of your home, that's different. But if you have no recollection of anything recently happening, but you are honestly always anxious or you're afraid, begin to do the work and identify where it originates from. Do the work, because I'm sure there's something in your past that has happened to you. And now you begin to tell yourself those lies. And so those lies that we often hear in our head is, you're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not slim enough. You are not as athletic as he or she. You can't do it. Oh, that's being selfish when you talk about yourself. You can't earn that amount of money. You don't even know how to balance your checkbook. Or those thoughts that say that you can't accomplish that specific goal because it seems too far-fetched. And so what I come to tell you, my friends, is that worthiness starts now. It starts now. Oftentimes we work on our self-esteem. Oftentimes we say, well, work on our confidence. Yes, those things are great. But if you don't feel that you are worthy or deserving of any goal that you have in mind or desire, you will not be able to achieve those goals that you set out for yourself. Because, my friends, self-worth is the foundation in which all the other things, such as confidence, such as esteem, are built on. And so what do I mean when I say self-worth? I mean the value you put on yourself, what you allow people to do to you, what you allow people to say to you without having any boundaries. You rather get stepped on than appreciated. But today, my friends, it is going to stop. It stops now. You are not going to continue to believe the lie that has been told to you since you were a child. And now you are in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s. You're still believing the lie. Because now you believe it is part of who you are. But I come to tell you that it is a lie, that you are worthy. You are capable of doing amazing and extraordinary things. So how do we get out of that cycle of repeating those lies to ourselves on a consistent basis? How do we do that? So there are 4 things that I am going to ask that you do if this episode is resonating with you. And if you are that same individual I am speaking to that I've spoken to on many occasions, about repeating the lie and not living up to your potential. Okay, the first thing is that you need to recognize that you're doing it. Recognize that those feelings of anxiety, sadness, unworthiness is coming from somewhere. Like I said, you did not wake up like this. Okay, like Beyonce said, you did not. It is coming from somewhere, but you first have to recognize that you're doing it. It is coming from what you are repeating to yourself in your head every day, every hour, every half an hour, every minute of the day. Wow, my friend, that's exhausting. But you first have to recognize that you are doing it. How do you recognize that you're doing it? By being present. By being present, not living in your head, stepping outside of your head and say, wait a minute, what am I saying to myself? I'm calling myself stupid because I can't finish this project. Or, yeah, you're dumb because you, once again, went over your budget. Right? I mean, these are the things that we say to ourselves. So being present and aware of what we tell ourselves. So that's the first step. You have to recognize it. And actually, my friends, it is the biggest step because too often people walk around just existing. They're like zombies. They are just here, but they're really not here. And so the first step is to recognize it and acknowledge that it is happening, that you want to live rather than exist. The second step is I want you, once you've recognized it, examine it. Don't just say, okay, I'm doing it and just keep moving. No, because if you don't examine it, it will come back and it may come back in full force. So I want you to take a moment to do some self-reflection. Reflect on what you do say. Write down all those things that you say to yourself that's not comforting, that's not positive. And then think about, where did it come from? When did you first hear that? When did you first hear that you were not capable? When did you first hear that you weren't pretty enough? Come on now, examine it. And that means writing it down, sitting on your bed or sitting in a comfortable place and just writing down what it is that you tell yourself and where did it come from? When did it first start? When you begin to examine it, it means that you are taking time to get to know you. Knowing thyself is very important, very important. The third step is I want you to learn new behaviors because the thing is, clinically, it is so important for you to, once you take away behaviors that are negative, you have to replace it with something else. And so, my friends, we're going to replace those negative behaviors with positive behaviors. You're going to, instead of ridiculing yourself when you don't get it right, start by saying to yourself, okay, I didn't do this correctly. So guess what? I'm going to do it better next time. You got this, girl. Come on now. You have to go into that place to say, I got this. Speak to yourself. And if you're like me, I go straight to my word. I go to my Bible and I look up scriptures that say that I am something amazing, right? The scripture that speaks to you are beautifully made. You are strong. You are peaceful. Like identifying those specific scriptures that speak to you, listening to this podcast, especially as I speak in the beginning of the week, affirming who you are for real, not the fraud, not what people have told you, not what media or social media have said by comparing you or you compare yourself to others. So you're going to have to relearn new behaviors. Begin to talk to yourself. Okay, I know you're like, I'm not crazy. You talk to yourself anyways. Come on now. You say all the not so good things about you. So I want you to begin to talk to yourself in a way that is humbling, that is comforting, that is truly loving. Because my friends, how could you expect someone to treat you well, to love on you when you don't love yourself? Come on now. Hear me when I say that. How could you expect to find the love of your life when you don't love your life? Oh, come on, girl. Natasha Paris, you are on to something. You are not the love of your life. Our Creator lives within us. Yes, greater is He that lives in you than he that lives in the world. And so if your Creator lives in you, then that means you're powerful. You are powerful beyond all measures. And so it's so important for you to tap into that power and to identify that power that lives within you that makes you great. And so you are nothing less than extraordinary. Extraordinary. My fourth step, now that you've identified how to do better, now you're going to affirm every day that you are great, that something amazing is going to happen today. You are going to meet your love of your life. You are smart. You are intelligent. You are beautiful. You are great just the way you are. Yes, my friends, you're going to affirm what is. And the reason why I say it's a daily task, because I'm going to tell you right now, that enemy, that lie, that battlefield that's happening in your head, it happens often. And for some, it happens every day, every minute of the day. And so you have to get to a place where you are combating those thoughts on a daily basis by writing it down on an index card. I am great. I am awesome. I am beautifully made. Writing it on an index card and placing it in a place where you frequent. For me, I'm in the mirror in my bathroom as I'm putting on a beat face. Come on now. And so I repeat that to myself every morning. I'm not telling you something that I heard or read in a book. My friends, I'm telling you something that works for me. Because, my friends, I wasn't always the most confident individual that you see now. I had my battles as it related to my own self-esteem. Growing up, not looking like everyone else with my sharp features and my slim build. Yes, I didn't always feel confident. And so it is a daily task for me. It's like I do it like brushing my teeth. I affirm what I want from my life. I affirm who I am, because I know that little nasty thing will try to rise its ugly head again. And so I am ready to affirm my truth, not the lie. So, my friends, I am not going to belabor the point. We have so many other episodes to talk more about it. And I want you to tune in to all the other episodes that you may not have heard before, and wait for additional episodes that talk about this. Because in order for you to become the powerful person that you are, in order for you to tap into the great power that lives within you, you need to first see what it is that you are doing that is hurtful and harmful. And so with that said, let's do a recap of what was discussed in episode 107. I want you to know that it is a lie, that you are worthy of so much more. But we have to look at where it came from. And what I've said before on many occasions, I would say of all of the thousands of people that have walked into my office, all of the thousands of people that I've counseled and coached over the 24 years, 85 to 90% of the levels of anxiety, anger, frustration comes from childhood. Now they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and they're still believing the lie. And so the first step is to first recognize, are you doing it? Am I speaking to you? The second is to examine it. Look at it. I know it smells bad. I know it doesn't look good. I know you don't want to admit that you do that to yourself because you are the senior director at your job. You are the VP. You are always put together. How could people think that you think less of yourself? Put all of that away and let's examine it. The third step is I want you to unlearn those behaviors and relearn positive behaviors. You're going to replace those negative things that you say to yourself, replace the negative things that you do to yourself, allowing individuals to talk to you any kind of way, entertaining relationships that don't serve you. Come on now. You need to stop doing that. Stop entertaining relationships that don't serve you. Stop speaking negatively about yourself. Yes, you're going to have to replace those behaviors with positive behaviors. And then the last number 4 is I want you to affirm what is on a daily basis. Write down what you want for your life and repeat it to yourself and say, I deserve it. I deserve to be happy, or I should say joyful. I deserve wealth. I deserve a loving relationship. I deserve this. And it's not because you are boasting and being egotistical. No, you're just setting a standard because you are a queen. You are a king. Because if your father, the creator of this universe, owns everything and you are his child, then guess what? You also own it too. You deserve it too. And so as we close, my friends, what is your empowerment assignment? What is your homework assignment? I like just saying empowerment assignment. Sounds so much better. I want you to do those 4 steps today. That's what I'm asking you to do. Get out a journal or a black and white composition book and start doing some self-reflecting. Start doing the internal work. Don't wait for something serious to happen for you to say, well, okay, what happened here? No, do it before. Be proactive. And if it's happening right now, that you're accepting behaviors that you know you should not be accepting, if you are talking down to yourself, if you are extremely critical of yourself, then I am talking to you. You need to do this for you, not for me or anyone else. So you start writing down what it is that you do and go through the steps. And when you are done, I want you to know that you are courageous because you decided to bet on yourself. You didn't just listen to this podcast, episode 107, and said, oh, that sounds good, and carried on with the rest of your day. No, you decided to do something. So I challenge you, and like they said in Black Panther, challenge you to do this work today. So with that said, I am super excited to have been your guide on this journey for empowerment, because as I close every episode on my Empower You 2 podcast, I say, oh my goodness, I am super excited because you are empowered for greatness. Because without greatness, there's no you. And without you, there's no greatness. Bye.